The time has come in FPL GW24. Chip season is finally here. Guys, in this video, we have a jam-packed show. We will be covering the wildcard, the free hit, captaincy for the week, as well as top transfers to be bringing in. We'll do a recap of my team just to give a bit of context as to what I'm thinking going into game week 23. This is your FPL Game Week 24 wildcard and complete guide. So we have a lot to cover. Now, let's get into it. Right, just a bit of housekeeping first. So I have dropped my cadence down from 3 videos to 1 video a week. I will try and even do 2 videos a week for you guys. So what I have done here is I've jam-packed everything that I could, taking an early look at FPL Game Week 23 for you guys so that you guys can use this to help plan ahead, which is very nice for you guys. So I have put down some actual chapters if you want to skip ahead to certain parts in the video where it's top transfers, where it's just captaincy, whether it's just the wild card or the free hit or my team selection, then you guys can do that all down below. Now, let's get into that wild card straight away. In that wild card, guys, I would have been looking at the fixtures first for you guys, but I just want to jump straight into the action. So in the wild card, we will have in goals Raya with Dubravka on the bench there, of course, as an enabler. Now, in the defense, I have got Hill, Gabriel, Chalaba on the bench currently, of course, with this team setup. For the game week, I have Dogu and Cash. Now, let's speak firstly about Hill, because you might be like, Cat Hill. Hill really is your cheaper option than Senesi. Now, for me, Bournemouth, of course, haven't been all that great defensively. And look, 4.8 is not a lot of money for Senesi. But what are you looking to get from Senesi? You're looking to get somebody who, of course, is available. Hill's been playing the past few games. I say few as in like the past 6-7 games. He's been starting ahead of Diakite. On top of that, he has also been achieving DEFCON, I think, in out of 5 out of those 6 games. So he hasn't achieved DEFCON in just one of those games. So I'm getting also what Senesi basically is getting. On top of that, he's got an assist threat because he's the one on the long throws now. So I don't know about you, but that excites me at 3.9. He's a huge enabler. So I thought, you know what? Look, I do want to free up some cash because I want to invest in the midfield. So I decided to bring in Hill there. I think the rest of the defenders aren't necessarily ones you have to explain. Dogu's really hot right now. He's giving you a 4.3 shot in the attack. I think he's gone up from the time of recording. He is 4.4. He should be, because he should have gone up last night. And then Cash as well for me was the fact that Hill, Cash, and Chalaba have a very great fixture rotation going to game week 31, where I'm not looking at the fixture right now. I have already. I mean, this is what you guys should do whenever you look at your when you put your wild card together. But you have to look at it because, of course, you need to figure out which player is going to be playing in this this week or that week. Now, the FPL Force does have a great tool for you guys to actually help you figure that out as well. But if you want to do it manually like I did, you can also look at the fixture ticker on the FPL Force on the command center page. But Chalaba, Cash, and Hill have an amazing fixture rotation going up to game week 31. And beyond that, I do believe you will want to start probably bringing in other players. Now, into the midfield, I have Brian Mbuemo, Enzo Fernandez. No, yes, Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, and Rogers. Now, I think that is self-explanatory because Rice, you want to have them as that third Arsenal player, of course. Then Rogers, he also has been really performing really well for Aston Villa. He has been blowing hot and cold. I know there's people who have moved off of him, but I still think he's a great pick considering the fixtures that he has with Aston Villa. He is really much the talisman there. I think we're yet to still find out who's on penalties. But we'll see. He's on set pieces though as well. So I think, you know, really good pick. Bruno, there's not much to be said. Enzo Fernandez as well. Great fixtures coming up for Chelsea. It's a no-brainer to have him in there. Brian Mbuemo, before this game week, was a debate for me. But after the previous game week against Arsenal as well, I say as well because he has, before he went to AFCON, he had been performing. Now he's come back and he's just got it right off from where he left. So if you have the cash, you can definitely do this. And with this actual team, just as I mentioned, I had after creating this team, I had 0 left in the bank, and my team value is like at 102 point something. So I'm very sure you can afford this, and with enablers like Hill there as well. In the strike force, I have Krupi Jr. with Haaland, and then Thiago, of course, on the bench just in this game week setup. Krupi, of course, with Bournemouth having some great fixtures. Now, Haaland, as much as he hasn't been performing, you can see the vice captaincy on him there. We'll get on that when you get to captaincy. He's still somebody worth having. I think there isn't any major big players like Palmer or Salah who've really stepped up for us to really start considering moving Haaland on. So I would say just keep Haaland on, in all honesty, because his ownership will hurt you. You can see that 73%. Thiago, for me, in my team, I bought him, I think, at like 6.4, something like that. So he's got a lot of value tied up in me. And if he didn't, my third striker would be a João Pedro, who is also performing really well. So yeah, for me, there are a lot of pieces you can move around depending on you, of course, and your taste. But I think overall structure and the player picks, I think this is where a lot of people would be heading. In terms of that Arsenal trio, instead of having a Timber and having a Raya, I was thinking a lot more in terms of that game week 26 potential double. You'll definitely have Raya playing those games. I believe Gabriel should play those games, and we all know how important Declan Rice is to Arsenal as well. So you should have all 3 of those players playing both of those games and not wondering whether or not Timber could not feature in both of those doubles. This team is really great, even going if you're wildcarding now and going into game week 31, where the blank is going to be happening. Because then you'll have your 3 Arsenal along with your City, who you can actually bench there as well. So you won't have to worry too much about actually taking players out. So it's a great wild card if you want to wild card now and not worry also about those fixtures there, and just plan towards how you're going to start getting players in for the double in game week 33 and 36 as well. That mentioned, the chip strategy, if you're going to be wildcarding, let's take a quick look at it. Now, the FPL Force does have a chip planning strategy tool for you where you can actually jot there where you want to actually wildcard. Now, what I've done for you here, it shows you the way you want, where you can. Well, what I've done for you is I want to show you where you can wildcard, triple captain, bench boost, and free hit based on the information that we currently have right now. So when it comes to wildcard windows, there's game week 34, and then there's also game week 32, where everybody's going to be wildcarding in preparation for that game week 33 game week 33 double game week. So I'm sure you guys should know, if you don't know at the moment right now, Arsenal have a potential of doubling in game week 26 based on whether or not they beat Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-finals. Now, because of doubling their fixture that was in game week 31 basically would be moved to game week 36, making them blank in game week 31. Then along with City as well, their fixture cannot be moved earlier. It would have to move later. So they would have to blank in game week 30. They would have to blank in game week 30. Yeah, they would have to blank in game week 31. And so their double would then move to game week 33. Now, that creates that window of the double game week window in game week 33 as well as game week 26, right? Now, there also could be another double, a bit of a double in game week 36. depending on other fixtures and how they go in the FA Cup although teams who pitch in the game week in FA Cup semi-finals. So those doubles, those fixtures could be moved to game week 36. Now, having that in mind, your windows essentially for your chips is right now there's a great fixture turn, and that's why everybody's considering it. Some people's teams are a mess. There's a window because of the fixture turn to wildcard in this game week, right? This is game week 24. Then, of course, there's that game week 32 after the blank in game week 31, so you can prepare to basically wildcard, to basically bring in the players you need to double in game week 33, and even looking at game week 36. In game week 34, which is where the game weeks are, where the games of the double game week 33 and 36 would be moving, there's going to be quite a few fixtures which will be missing. So that is essentially like where everybody is going to just be using their free hit. And I say everybody in terms of the engaged managers. They're going to be using their free hit so that they know I don't have to worry about that actual fixture, about that date, because I'm just going to free hit then, and I know I can just continue to plan around that, basically build a team for the doubles in game week 33 and game week 36. Bench boost. Now, the bigger double game week from what I've seen so far will be in game week 33. So you most likely want a bench boost in game week 33 because your bench could have one double game week player in game week 33. Whereas opposed to game week 36, you might have a bench where it just has some great players, but there won't be one doubler on that bench. But that's the thing. It really is up to you whether or not you think, look, I prefer to have a doubler and a few, normal bench players, or I prefer to bench in game week 36, where as much as it's a single game week players, they are game week players who would usually start for me. It's just that they're not starting because I'm playing double game week players over them. So that's going to be entirely up to you, but those are basically the windows as to when you should wild card, triple captain, bench boost, and free hit. That's your mini chip strategy so far. Of course, we'll get into it more as we get into the actual season. Now, let us take a look at the free hit, which is not necessarily all that different. Now, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying that piece of content, please hit that subscribe button. It really goes a long way in supporting me and growing the channel. Just for that, I decided to give you 50% off the FPL Force app. Just make sure that your YouTube is set public, and I have put instructions in the FPL Force's profile settings underneath the subscription tab, so you can make sure you see how to set your YouTube on public, and we can validate that as well, so you can get your 50%. Now, let's get back to the video. Alright guys, look, going into the free hit, as I mentioned, it wouldn't be all that different in all honesty. Just a couple of changes, and I think places where you can also sort of maneuver. Really, in goals, I'd still have Raya there, really trusting the Arsenal defense despite their performances recently. I have Senesi now because I have put some enablers on the bench there. Gabriel in the defense there, as well as Chalobah, because they have some great fixtures. In the midfield, of course, I have Brian and Bremo, Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, and Rogers. And then in the strike force, I have the man in form, which is an Evan Nilsson and Erling Haaland as well. Now, on the bench, of course, I have Dubravka, Hill as an enabler, Akchimpong, as well as Krupi Jr. As I mentioned, there are some things you can change if you want to change the third Chelsea asset there. You could probably bring in a João Pedro. Maybe if you wanted to put him ahead of another player, say, I don't know, you'd rather have a third Arsenal defender, take Rice down, put Senesi out to bring in João Pedro. However way you think you can maneuver, this was the best way I thought I could actually make this team for the game week. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section for your actual free hit, my actual free hit? Do you think there's a player missing? Do you think you would change things up? What would you have done basically? Yeah. Let's start off with the top defensive picks. Just starting off at the back as well. I think going through these, I'll just be real quick on each one, going into each and every single position. I think number one is Chalobah, definitely because of his fixtures as well in the long run. Then we have Senesi as number two. Of course, we mentioned the cheaper option there would be a Hill in the team. Dogu comes in here at number three, really because Munoz for me is still an option to think about. It was his first game week back, but you could see how dangerous he was. Dogu's essentially become that player on the left now. So I think it's up for debate. But just based on recent performances of Man United, I think Dogu, who's earned his spot here at number three ahead of Munoz, whose fixtures really just get better. I think more so around 25, 26. I believe they start to play Burnley there. So I would really have those three guys in contention at the moment. You can see on your left of the screen, I just put a list of other defenders who are in form there as well. Now, let us get into the midfield picks, which is where you guys really are contemplating your bigger transfers. Bruno's definitely still number one. You guys have to get this guy in. As much as he is a lot of money right now, I think in 9.4. If he hasn't risen in price already, I think he's still a huge buy. Enzo Fernandez, again, another no-brainer. He had the penalty, especially with Cole Palmer being out. We also don't know how long Cole Palmer will be out in the sense of him being on and off. And it looks like even if he does come back, he's still going to have his minutes managed. So I would have Enzo Fernandez, a cheaper option there at 6.6 at the moment. Then number three, Brian Mbeumo has taken the spot really ahead of, I would have had a Rodgers there because, again, they've got really great fixtures. My thing, I guess with Man United is, dude, you just know how Man United are, bruh. They blow hot and cold, and they'll go blow hot against Arsenal and Man City. Now against Fulham, boom, cold. And you're like, where the hell was last week's two performances, the other week's two performances? So, look, the thing is, you can't ignore the partnership that Bruno and Mbeumo are playing right now. Mbeumo's a midfielder playing literally as a striker. That's a dream, in all honesty. Bruno's still getting his DEFCON in the 10, as well as on set pieces and some long penalties. So you could have somewhat of a Kane and Son movement happening there again. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I think other special mentions, like I said, would be the Rodgers long-term. Anyone else? I mean, Shada has also some really good XG, but now Damsgaard's injured, so it kind of begs the question as to how their attack is going to be when their number 10, who's been doing really well as well, is going to be out. Semenyo's another player highly owned and also doing well. It's also affordable, I think, at 7.7. Maybe you could have him ahead of Rodgers. He's someone you can consider. I wouldn't necessarily consider Cody Gakpo, of course, Foden or Yeremy Pino, or neither Verts as well from these players here. Saka, he's on and off in terms of appearances. You're just not sure what Arteta's thinking in terms of, when he would be playing him. I think it's you essentially guessing because the game week before this, we thought he would play that game, but he didn't. But he played the Champions League game. So I don't think he's going to play this Champions League game, considering Arsenal have, played. I think he'll, be in preparation for the next game after that. Maybe not even play the Leeds game just so that he could they could keep him for the actual Chelsea game. We'll see. You never know with these things. Let's get into the strike force, the top three picks for me. João Pedro at number one. Great fixtures, great form as well. He's been in good goal scoring form. Not the only Brazilian at number two. We also have Evan Nelson, who is a tad bit cheaper. But if you are looking for a good enabler, As well, you can have the number 3 pick, which is Krupi Jr., another one who has some great fixtures there. If you're looking to bring in a cheaper striker there. But Evan Nelson has been the one who's been scoring goals recently. I just know how good Krupi Jr. is and how well he's done. But the man in form there is Evan Nelson, having scored, I believe, 3 goals in the last 4. So, yeah, I think if you want to move there at the moment, you can. I would just rather pay for a João Pedro over Evan Olsen, which is why he's number 1. I would rather go with a Krupi if I'm going into Bournemouth right now. Also, just because they're a weaker team in Chelsea, so I prefer to invest the money more so in Chelsea. Then just a couple of mentions. Of course, we'll have Thiago. I think he's a keeper based on what he can do. Again, it begs the question as to whether or not we should keep him because Damsgaard is out. I think he's a really crucial player towards their attack and how they really get that ball behind the defenders. So we'll have to see. But I think we saw a bit of that in this game week where they just couldn't break through. And then Jean-Philippe Mateta, at the moment, with his future just not being secure, we don't know. He could move to Aston Villa to play with Ollie Watkins there, or maybe ahead of Ollie Watkins, and which is another reason why I wouldn't put Ollie Watkins in there. Calvert-Lewin is Calvert-Lewin, man. He's been doing well. Another enabler, in all honesty, at 6 million. So fixtures aren't all that great, which is why we're leaning more towards the Bournemouth players there. But I mean, hey, I'm not going to go through that whole team, that whole list there. But those are the other mentions, basically. Now, because it is wildcard season, we are also going to take a look at goalkeepers for those of you who are looking to do a goalkeeper transfer. Look, Sanchez, I think number 1, Chelsea have shown they can have some defensive solidity. It's just their focus near the end. I do believe that they conceded in the previous game week also because of those substitutions made. So I think if the game had been a lot more challenging and they'd kept those players on like Reece James, like Caicedo, then you would have seen them run over the finish line with a clean sheet. So I think they can definitely keep clean sheets. And I think with the fixtures they have, they can definitely do that as well. Raya, just because he is one of those long-term set and forgets, as expensive as he is, at least you have the cheaper option of Sanchez in number 1. Another cheaper option you could think about is a Petrovic. Really great cheap option there. So I definitely would go for him if you're thinking of bringing in a cheaper goalkeeper there. Other mentions, honesty, for me, there's not really much I would go for. I think Kelleher's fixtures are turning right now, as much as he was a favorite. For Bruggen's game, fixtures aren't necessarily all that bad. You could still have him, but again, for me, in terms of clean sheets, they're just not necessarily the team I look to when it comes to clean sheets. So that's why I have Raya. I'd just rather set and forget, in all honesty. Yeah, but now let us take a look at captaincy as well for the actual game week. I think Bruno Fernandes this game week is not a bad captaincy shout ahead of Haaland, because Haaland is playing the bogey team, which is Tottenham Hotspurs, and they're also playing away as well. Because of Haaland's form, I think it could give you a gap to actually think of who else you could actually captain. Now, I have number 3 there, João Pedro, but in all honesty, this is really just a Chelsea pick. I think if Cole Palmer was in form, he has the fixture, that's who I would have put the actual armband on. And it begs the question as to, okay, Kat, well, why didn't you put Enzo Fernandez there? I could, in all honesty. He's also on penalties. He's got a greater XG, and that, again, that's your preference. I just feel like João Pedro would definitely be there in terms of those goal scoring opportunities. You can see that, as well as his form is really there. Whereas Enzo's got great XG and even XGI, but he's just not. He's hot and cold. He has his game week, and then it's off, and his game week is off. I'd rather ride on to João Pedro's current form right now. It's just a shame, of course, he doesn't have penalties or set pieces, in all honesty, all that much really. So yeah, man, I guess, it is what it is really. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Let us get into my team selection for the game week. But before we do that, remember to sign up to the FPL Force app if you want to get access to the live FPL page where you can get your live rankings overall, as well as in your mini league and a whole lot more like team news. Remember, you can get 50% off when you get your paid membership on the FPL Force app. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel just to get your 50% off. Now, let's get back to the video. Right, now let us take a look at my game week, and let's move these guys out the way, and let's just get this guy in. Let's move that chip strategy out the way there. Cool. So my game week was, of course, just like your guys' one, not the best, in all honesty. I had Ray in goals with Timber, Gabriel. Nobody really predicted that, and yeah, Man United went and did the unpredictable. In all honesty, kudos to them, which is what I was saying. You have to now consider that Bruno and Mbeumo combination. So I ended up with 1 point from each of those players. Mickey van der Ven coming in and saving me with a goal there. So really happy about that. Bruno not playing. My first bench actually was Anderson. So Anderson's going to come in there with his 8 points for the game week, which I'm really happy about. In all honesty, I think it just gives me a bit of a boost. And then, of course, Enzo coming in with his 8 points, along with Bruno with his 5, and Wilson also as well. I think if those players did not pull through for me, then damn, I'll be out. Krupi Jr. came in as well, along with Bruno, when I heard that Foden was injured. So I took a hit there, essentially. I'll say it's for Bruno because he got 5 points. So I guess I am 4 points better there because Foden was 1, but Krupi only getting 1, which is honestly sort of disappointing in the sense that I had a bench which did better than, of course, what I would have thought or imagined. And it seems like I didn't even have to do that, those transfers, because I could have had Cunha come in. But I mean, who would have thought Cunha would have come in from off the bench and scored and got a 9-pointer? And then I also had Anderson, who did 8 points, and an O'Reilly who did 6 points. So it's like, that was my initial bench. That was my bench. I could have just taken Cunha, put him in for Foden, Anderson, if I was brave enough, or even O'Reilly, put him in for Haaland, and then just keep my transfer instead of doing a -1. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles. It is what it is. In terms of points, it does see me with 35 points because it is 39 points currently minus the -4. And then it currently sees me at 100, down by 100,000 places. Rank, of course, is not all that great, but I'm really hoping my chip strategy is going to be the one that saves it, to really just break me through. And I know it might be unrealistic, but I'm still looking at that top 100K, bro. That is just where I've been finishing. That's just how it is. I'm just having one of those seasons right now, in all honesty. Yeah, please don't blame me. Cool. Let's get into the fixture. No, sorry, the team selection. Now we know what my team looks like. Did I mention I'm growing a community, which I would love for you to be part of? And all you need to do is just sign up for a paid membership on the FPL Force app, which you can get 50% off of if you are subscribed to the channel. Would love to chat to you guys before, during, and after the actual game weeks. And I can also get in your questions, which I can answer to you right here on the actual channel. So please make sure you do that. Make sure your YouTube is set public. I have put the instructions to do that in the profile settings underneath the subscription tab. So please, I'd really love to see you guys in the community. community and chat with you guys as well. Now, let's get back to the video. Yeah, Cat just likes to disturb me, in all honesty. What I was gonna say is I have made one transfer already. I did have one free transfer and I wanted to beat the price rises. Now, this did bite me in the posterior in the previous game week, but I knew very well that I wanted to make this this change. So the changes in the midfield, let's take a look at how my team is lining up right now. In goals, I'm definitely having Raya in the defense with Timber and Gabriel playing against Leeds. It is away, and I have O'Reilly currently against Tottenham away, ahead of Anderson, who's on the bench there, who will be playing Man United, who I just feel, of course, they would concede. And of course, Mickey van der Ven as well. He's against Man City. I still also think they'll concede as much as the bogey team. But hey, maybe that unpredictable thing could happen again, you know? And then, of course, on the bench, I have Bruno Guimaraes right now, who is flagged. Don't know when he's going to return. He is playing Liverpool anyway. So with the change I made in the midfield, I'm really okay to have him on the bench. So let's take a look at who I brought into that actual midfield. In the midfield, playing a 3-4-3, I do have Wilson, did really well the previous game week. Enzo, who has a great fixture against West Ham. Bruno Fernandes there against Fulham, who I brought in the previous game week. He has the captaincy armband. And then we do have a Brian Mbeumo, who is the player I did bring in. It was a sideways move from Cunha to Mbeumo. So I was thinking of keeping Cunha, and that was because Dogu did go off, but Carrick came after the game and said that it was a cramp and not necessarily a pulled hamstring. So he definitely can recover because Man United is playing one game a week, all right through to the actual end of the season. So the thing as well with Dogu, we're also not sure, but based on his performances, we believe he will be starting all the time. But I think, the tactic of playing him in that position, for me, came more so from looking like, we wanted a bit more, a person who could press really well in the attack. Of course, when Man United don't have the ball, I don't think Cunha is all that great really when it comes to the press. So maybe that's why Dogu's playing ahead of him. But he did come off the bench and show, hey, I can score goals as well. So we'll see how that goes. But I was happy to make that change. I'd rather have Bruno and Bruno Fernandes and Mbeumo there rather than a Bruno Fernandes and a Cunha, honesty, just because of minutes. In the strike force for the actual game week, I will be going with the three of Krupi, Erling Haaland, as well as Thiago. So happy that Krupi would be against Wolves. Now, of course, he could be benched. We don't know, but Alex Slot, I'm not sure how you say his name. The signing that they made looked like he's a winger who would really be coming on the wing for coming onto the field for one of the wingers, which is Adley or Jimenez, and not necessarily in that 10 position. So I think as long as Clifford is out, Krupi looks like the man to be there. I'm very happy as well for him to also skip a game or something because of the depth I have in my team. As you can also see at the wild card that I built as well, I would rather have that depth as well for such players like Krupi or even Hill, who probably if things changed and he had to be benched, you didn't spend too much money on them, so you expect a return of a 4.6 player. So really happy for him to be there. I think he definitely will start against Wolves as well, and they should, they should actually perform. Then in all honesty, Thiago, I just think that they can get at Aston Villa because they are a team they can counter against. Aston Villa can hold the ball. So I feel like this is a Thiago game as well as a Kevin Schade game. So the question is to whether or not they can do it without Damsgaard, and we'll see how they respond to that. In all honesty, I just expected more from them in the home fixture, and this being an away fixture could make it a lot more trickier as well. Guys, that is it for the actual video. Thank you so much, and apologies for not being here with all the videos I usually do. I do have a newborn, for you who don't know, and it's been really hard just finding time to actually record. So that's why I just decided to do a complete guide video at the beginning of the actual game week, just to help you guys out, and you can use this throughout the actual game week. And then yeah, let me know in the comment section. Really miss you guys. What your thoughts are for the game week, who your top transfers are, what's your wild card, what's your chip strategy so far, and yeah, let's converse and also get into that community on the FPL Force. Don't forget to subscribe, and also 10 likes in the video right now is actually the aim. Nothing more, nothing less asking for. So really would appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.